what you got. Oh, I can't see tomorrow. Gotta live, try to get a little wiggle room, the rest don't stop. Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Tryna make a dollar, flip it like it's vinyl. Tryna make a way. What's it worth to you if the price too high? Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Give me your best. Don't say nothing less, cause I'm giving you 100. How you always leaving me with nothing? I'm not impressed. It's gonna take more than this, cause I'm giving you 100. And I don't even know if I can trust you for nothing.
Well, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday. It is March the 10th, I think. It is March the 10th. And I am super excited to be here this morning. Super excited that you guys are here this morning. I'm looking forward to a fantastic call. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Anne-Marie. Hope you guys are up and ready to rock and roll with a smile on your face and a song in your heart and feeling good about today. How good was yesterday? How good was yesterday morning? Was that not fantastic listening to Brian? I mean, yesterday was just a fantastic day. And I'm hoping, I just can't even imagine. I can't imagine. I'm trying to imagine. And I promise you, we are getting close to really knocking out some things and doing some really cool things. So I'm super excited about relationships like Brian and being able to bring him to you guys and being able to put people like that in front of you, you guys in the same room with people like that. I agree, Emery. I think he was fantastic, man. He was right on point. So let's have some more people get in here and get rolling. Vanessa, did you have a good day yesterday? Anne-Marie, did you have good days yesterday? Wonderful. I love it. My beard's all out of whack this morning. I love it. I am y'all, I am super stoked about where we're going. I am super excited about where we're headed and what it looks like for us, this company, for you guys, as we start to move ahead and do some things. I don't know why nobody's here. It's awfully quiet in here this morning, but just y'all, I love you guys. I'm glad y'all are here, but I'd expect more people to be in here this morning. Let's see here. Let me shoot a little message. Friday, is it raining down there? Typically, when the cold fronts come. Good morning, Michelle T. How are you? Usually, when the cold fronts start moving through, I think we're expecting some weather. When those low pressure systems start to move back in, people want to stay in bed. They don't want to get up out of bed, so it starts to hurt them a little bit. All right, here we go. We got people that are waking up. Here we go. Well, let's get rolling, man. I'm going to get rolling because I know I'm kind of pressed on time a little bit during the weeks I'm in Tennessee, and a little pressed for time getting Jagger to school and making sure that we get all this stuff out. So let's go ahead and get going. Let's get started this morning. Did y'all enjoy that? I mean, Vanessa, I know I just asked this question. Michelle, did you enjoy that yesterday? Was that fantastic? Yeah, I'm going to – so my Friday consists this morning. I'm going to go walk 9 holes. That's about 2 hours worth of walking and about probably a little over about maybe 3 miles of walking. So that's going to be my outside workout today. I'm going to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. So I've committed, y'all. One of my goals this year is to play to a certain handicap. And so one of my goals this year is to get better, be serious about my golf game and be serious about it. And, you know, it sounds so, I've been in past, well, let's do this. I'm going to back out of this. Yesterday was awesome. I'm thinking what we're going to do is every other Thursday. So every other Thursday, we're going to have a guest. We'll have somebody like Brian Covey come in and speak to you guys, somebody that's not me, and to bring in some of these circles. We've tried this before. Here's the deal. Brian, and if y'all didn't go back and read, and I didn't want to brag on him, because what you're going to see is he's never going to talk about himself ever, not ever in ever, which is unbelievably cool. You're never going to hear about how much money he makes, about his private jets, and about all the stuff that he does. You're not ever going to hear him talk about that. But Brian Covey probably is one of the top. He's got to be in the top 5, maybe top 10 mortgage executives in the United States. He's grown the company that they have right now to almost $25 billion dollars, and goes all over the country, flies all over the country. He's brought in to speak to these mastermind groups and these leadership conferences and these places all over the country. He's got a successful podcast that he's done for 3 years. You know, he played professional soccer. He's done all these things, but he's just a dude, man. He's just a fantastic family guy. And I'm gonna tell you something about him that I just, and I didn't say this yesterday, and I don't like putting people on the spot. So one of the things that I've been looking for the last 8 months probably is I've been looking for a mentor. I have been putting in my spirit and in my heart to find a mentor. Because again, good morning, Teal. One of the things that he said yesterday, and Ken Jocelyn says it this way: proximity is a cheat code. And if I can find my notes from yesterday, they're right here. I can't read. I can find what it is. Proximity fuels your purpose. And so let's talk. We'll talk about some of it today. But let's get going. My name is Aaron Dwyer, and I and my wife Christy Dwyer started a company called Exit Realty Lake Country, and we really started Exit Realty Lake Country as a platform for us to help our agents be the best versions of themselves. So every single morning, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, we get up, have a call with our agents, and what started as just a little check-in has now kind of evolved into a 45-minute conversation with our agents and our Exit Realty Lake Country Nation, the people that love us, the people that we love. And we just share some motivation, some laughs and things that we think will help them start their days really, really well. We find that it's very important to have a great morning routine. We want to make this part of their morning routine. And we know if we can create a good morning and get off to a good start, then we've got a really good chance, a very high probability of having an awesome day. And if we can string enough awesome days together, we can put together a very, very awesome life. And that's what we do every single morning. And that's what we're going to do today. So if you're watching this on YouTube, watching this later, thanks for watching. If you're here this morning, y'all know the drill. Just tell me good morning. Let me know you're here. And let's get rocking and rolling. Good morning, Kristen Ritchie. And as you guys know, kind of following through on the last little bit, we're on day 22. So day 22 of Grant Cardone's 32 things successful people do that unsuccessful people don't do. We're on day 22. I love 22. Matter of fact, 22 is the number that I have on my golf ball. 22 is a very special number to me. It was my number in high school or in college when I played baseball. I love the number 22. And so welcome to day 22. Here we are. So day 22, successful people have a high level of motivation. Good morning, Facebook user. Successful people have a high level of motivation. So what does that mean? What does it mean to have a high level of motivation? So as you sort of think about motivation, as you start to think about that question, as you start to think about what motivation means to you, I want you just to put in your head and put in your heart right now that successful people have high levels of motivation. Okay. Michelle Tilson said this just a little bit ago. She said, yeah, the bitch voice almost won this morning. Had to drag myself out of bed. Now, Michelle Tilson has learned the art of self-motivation. Caitlin, good morning. Well, hey, y'all, everybody wave at Caitlin Dowdy. Caitlin is one of our newest agents. She's here this morning. She said, good morning. So everybody said, hey, some of y'all met Caitlin at the meeting last Wednesday. So good morning, Caitlin. Thanks for being up with us. Good morning, Craig Burke. What's up, brother? So let's get after this thing because I think what Michelle said this morning is what successful people do. And I'm going to tie all this into proximity. I'm going to tie this into motivation. I'm going to tie this in to your bitch voice or your boss voice. I'm going to tie this into what you choose to do or what you choose not to do. But just understand this theme. Successful people have high levels of motivation. They're able to drag themselves out of bed. They're able to drag themselves out of the dumps. They're able to pull themselves out of the skids to go do the things that need to be done. They're able to go pull themselves out of the, to go do the things that need to be done. I want you to listen to this definition, though, to motivate. And this is from the Cambridge Dictionary. The Cambridge Dictionary says motivation is to cause someone to behave in a particular way. It is to make someone want to do something well, to make someone eager to do something, to influence someone's behavior in a particular way. That's motivation from the Cambridge Dictionary. That's motivation as you understand it. Do you guys recognize the theme in those definitions? Let me read those again. And I want you to listen for a common theme. Motivation is to influence someone's behavior in a particular way, to make someone eager to do something, to make someone want to do something well, or to cause someone to act in a particular way. What do you see as a common theme, a common thread in the Cambridge Dictionary's definition of motivation? What's the common theme, common thread? Did you hear it? Put it in the comments. Type in the comments what the common thread was you heard in that definition. Come on. Class participation time. Teal says make. Okay. Anybody else? Guesses? Anybody have any other guesses in that? What's the common theme in those? Because here's the common theme that I heard is that you are acting on someone else. You are having someone else act on you. There's some outside force that creates this motivation. There's some outside force that makes someone, right, Michelle, someone else is doing it. So what happens when someone else isn't around? So what happens to a successful person when there's not someone else? What happens when there's not Aaron Dwyer to speak to you every morning, to make you punch a clock? What happens when Christy is there not to make you not punch a clock? What happens when there's nobody around, when you wake up in the real estate business and you realize that you're all by yourself and there's nobody around to make you do what you're supposed to do? Then what? Michelle Tilson, you got to learn to listen to your boss voice. You got to learn to listen to your boss voice. Successful people have high levels of motivation. Here's what I'm telling you. You can't wait on somebody else to do it for you. You cannot wait on someone from the outside to motivate you. You cannot wait on someone from the outside to make you do something you really don't want to do. Because I promise you, we are all predisposed, and I don't know why, and it sucks, and I hate it. But it's just the condition of our human nature. We are all predisposed to be lazy. We are all predisposed to do less. I have said this to you over and over again. Human beings are the only species on the planet who have the ability to not live up to their full potential. We are the only species on the planet who can make the choice to not live to our full purpose, to do exactly what we were created to do. We are not, God gave us this innate ability, this thing called free will. Now, I have a whole theology behind why he gave us free will, but suffice it to say is he gave you the ability to choose. You're not an oak tree. You're not a lion. You're not an animal. You do not wake up every single day just to be one thing. If today you decided to go be a chef, then you can go to school to learn how to cook. If today you decided that you wanted to go be a weatherman, that you could go to school and become a meteorologist. If you decided today that you wanted to be a fireman, that you wanted to be a nurse, that you wanted to be something other than what you are right now, you could make the decision, make the change, go buy you another pair of shoes, and go do something different. Human beings are the only species on the planet that God created to be less than what we're designed to be. But successful people have high levels of motivation. Successful people drag themselves out of bed at 4:30 in the morning when they really don't want to get out of bed. Successful people put themselves in situations where they're doing things to make themselves better versions of themselves. Y'all, our battle, I told y'all, I've got this thing, this little plaque that I bought for my sons, and it's in their bathroom upstairs. And it says, the only competition you have is looking at you in the mirror. And it's in their bathroom. They see it when they get out of the shower. It's right there on the wall. They see it on the wall right before they get out of the shower. When they get out of the shower, when they walk out the door, it's right there on the wall. Can you imagine if today you were 1% better than yesterday? Can you imagine if you made the decision to be 1% better every time you opened up your eyes in the morning? Your first thought out of your head after you said thank you, after you were grateful for being alive, after you were grateful for taking that first breath in consciousness, after you were thankful for God giving you another day on this planet, if the next thought you had was, your second thought of the day was, I'm going to be just 1% better than I was yesterday. Not 50, not 100. I was going to be incrementally better today than I was yesterday. You would be 365% better at the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. You'd be 30% better at the end of March than you were at the beginning of March. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Successful people have high levels of motivation. They're up every day being in the room. They're up every day like you guys are in this call, listening to these words, listening to motivation, being up, being a student, being a sponge, soaking in words that are being said. But here's what happens. What we do as humans, we wake up one day and it's super cool. And we listen to Brian Covey and he speaks and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Oh my gosh, Brian's so awesome. And then Friday rolls around. And when the alarm goes off on Friday morning, they go, nah, I think I'm going to stay in the bed this morning. When Friday rolls around, they say, I think I'm just going to hang tight this morning. I don't think I'm going to jump in here and do this call this morning because you know what? My bed is super, super warm and I really don't feel like getting up this morning. So they don't. It's the same inconsistency that a lot of us in our real estate business. It's the same inconsistency that a lot of us have in our getting better business. It's a lot of the same inconsistency that we have in our relationship business. It's a lot of the same inconsistency that we have in our proximity business, in our getting better business, in our 1% better business, in our incremental change business. It's a lot of the same inconsistency. Do you understand? Life doesn't reward inconsistency. God doesn't reward inconsistency. He doesn't reward the man. Let me go right here. I'm going to go right here. Ken Jocelyn. Okay. Ken Jocelyn is a, Lynn, you know Ken Jocelyn really well. Ken lives he lives in Birmingham now. He lived in Georgia for a little bit. He was a pastor. He's actually one of the main reasons why Lynn, talk about the world coming full circle, everything coming back around. Ken Jocelyn was one of the initiators of Lynn Garrison getting her real estate license. He was one of the ones that one of Lynn's influences in her getting her real estate license. So Lynn knows Ken Jocelyn very, very well. But Ken Jocelyn is the guy that started the Grow Stack Drive Mastermind. He's the guy and he was a pastor. He's done a lot of things, but somehow, some way, Ken Jocelyn has got connections to a lot of people, and he's created a very, very enriched community of strong people, big, heavy hitters. That's how I met Brian Covey, was through Ken Jocelyn. And did y'all recognize Brian's last name is Covey? You ever heard of anybody else with the last name of Covey? I'll give you a hint because we're pressed on time. Stephen Covey is Brian Covey's family, or Brian Covey's family. The funny story is, I don't know if you knew this, but Stephen Covey's a Mormon, and Brian Covey is they're Methodists, and apparently Stephen Covey is Brian Covey's uncle, and the same spelling is pronounced differently because they all went different ways. The Mormon version, it's fun. This is a funny story, and this was told by Brian, so it's pretty funny. The Mormon version of the last name pronounces their name Covey. The Methodist version of the last name pronounces it Covey. So they have a little distinction in how they pronounce their names because there was a separation. It's kind of like what was it? Abraham and Esau. It was Abraham and Esau, when they went their separate ways. One became the father of Christianity. The other one became the father of Islam. So was that right? Was it or Ishmael? Abraham and Ishmael. Sorry, Abraham and Ishmael. One went one direction. One went the other direction. They changed their last names and they created different things. So, but he comes from a pretty cool line of thought leaders. And his dad was a like he told you yesterday, pretty strong dude. But Ken created this community. That's how we met Brian Covey. That's how we met Brent Gove. That's how we are meeting all these other people that are coming into, thank you, Lynn, Isaac and Ishmael. Yeah. I think they are, yes, they are part of that relation, Cynthia, but good morning. They are part of that relation. Yes, they are. So these are the circles that Ken Jocelyn has created that now our circles are kind of intertwining with, and these circles are overlapping now. And so one of the things that Ken says, it's the same thing that Brian said. It's the same thing I'm going to say to you guys. And it is part of what Christy and Aaron, what we have said to you forever. The real estate business is about relationship. Life is about relationship. You getting new listings, new buyers is about relationship. You finding ways and finding people to help, to serve, to help them get to different stages in their life, different steps in their lives, helping them move up or move down, downsizing, upsizing, getting a luxury house, buying a condo, getting married, getting divorced, having babies, having more babies, having less babies, kid going to college, all these life events, y'all. You've got to be in the relationship business. You've got to be in the proximity business. What Brian said yesterday is proximity fuels your purpose. And when I relate that back to motivation, when I look at motivation, I look at these definitions of motivation. They're all with the expectation that we're going to have somebody on the outside helping us do something. I've told y'all all the time, if you woke up in the morning and Jesus was pouring your coffee that morning, and Jesus handed you your cup of coffee in the morning, and Jesus said, I'm going to need you to go talk to 5 people that you've never talked to today. Would you look at Jesus and sip your coffee and go, Jesus, that sounds like a really great idea, but I'm a little afraid of people. And I really don't like talking to people that I don't know. And I'm just not really sure about creating relationship with folks that I may not know right now. Would you argue with Jesus about that? Would you tell Jesus, I'm not sure, Jesus, if I want to do that? Or would you say, you know what? Jesus, I'm in. Show me who I need to talk to. Who do you think I should talk to? What if you woke up every single morning with that thought in your heart, and that thought in your spirit is, God, put me in front. Jesus, put me in front of the people that I need to talk to today. Put me in front of the folks that I need to talk to today. Create the opportunity for me. Show me the opportunities for me to go in and have conversations and create relationships. Y'all, I have been looking for a mentor. I have been in my heart asking for a mentor because we all need a coach in life. Coach Bird ain't wrong when he says that. We all need a coach in life. We all need somebody who speaks to us. Paul and Timothy. There's so many examples in the Bible where one had another. There are apprentice programs in plumbing, in trades. You have apprentice programs in internships. Y'all, it's all built around this foundational principle that there's a master and that there's a student. There's someone who's done it well, and there's someone who needs to learn. That is a foundational principle of this planet. You need to be in proximity. Proximity fuels your purpose. Ken Jocelyn says proximity is a cheat code. He says proximity is a cheat code. Brian Covey says proximity fuels your purpose. I'm telling you, it is biblical. It is spiritually foundational that you have somebody in your life who speaks life into you. It's a foundational principle that you should speak life into other people. Lynn Garrison speaks life into people every moment of her day. She was speaking life to me yesterday morning, speaking into my life. I speak into my kids' lives. My kids speak into other people's lives. But I've been asking for a mentor. I've been asking God, show me who I need to be. Show me who I need to find, who I need to be with, who I need to give more time to. Show me who I need to have as a mentor. Because guess what, y'all? I ain't looking to be the same. And I'm sorry about that. If you're just watching this and that was the clip that you saw and you heard me say I ain't, that just was for effect. I am not grammatically incorrect. That was just for effect. I am not looking to be the same. Y'all, I'm telling you, this hit me last night as I was doing my second workout. Michelle, I want you to do this. I think this is super important for you to do because the journey that you've been through over the last 68 days, 69 days, y'all, we're 7 days away from being done with 75 Hard. Jared and Michelle Tilson are 7 days away from finishing 75 Hard. I'm 7 days away from finishing 75 Hard. 7 stinking days. Michelle, I want you to document. I'm going to do this. I want you to document this. I want you to document and look back at how many miles you've run or walked or biked. I want you to look at how many things you've done, how much weight you've lost, how much you've changed. I'm telling you, I said this the other day. I'm going to document everything I've done from a physical standpoint. I'm going to document everything that's transpired over the past, when I get finished, over the previous 75 days. But the physical change, the physical accomplishment, y'all, that is minuscule compared to the motivation, the mental toughness, the mental fortitude that Michelle Tilson has created. I promise you guys, Jared and Michelle Tilson have created, just like I have created, this mental fortitude, this ability to look at a circumstance, look at a situation and say, you know what? Double birds, I'm not doing it. I heard the guy that Brian had on his podcast a couple of days ago. I was listening to it on Wednesday just to give it an idea. Again, I'm gonna go back to my mentoring thing in a second and finish that thought because I need to finish that thought. But I was listening to this podcast, and he was talking to a guy named Chris Welton, and Chris Welton is in the mortgage business as well. Very successful dude. I've never heard of Chris Welton, but apparently he's done 75 Hard multiple times. He's done David Goggins Challenge. And if y'all haven't heard of David Goggins Challenge, I promise y'all, I ain't there yet because that dude is freaking nuts. But he's got another challenge that makes 75 Hard look like I'm at a kindergarten class eating crayons and wiping poop on the table. I mean, David Goggins Challenge is unreal hard. Y'all, that was a bad metaphor. My wife will be so disappointed in me saying that. But David Goggins is nuts. That dude, but it's not crazy. David's the rut guy. David Goggins, I don't want to get on too many rabbit trails. Yes, David Goggins is crazy. David Goggins has a different gear. David Goggins was a Navy SEAL. He was really fat. He's one of the first African Americans to be a Navy SEAL, to complete BUD/S training and to be a Navy SEAL. Because that's a very select group. There aren't very many African Americans who have been Navy SEALs. He's one of the ones. But when he went into the recruiter's office, that dude was fat. He went into the recruiter's office fat, just a big fat piece of you know what. So if you've not heard David Goggins, I want you today to go to YouTube, Google David Goggins. He's going to F-bomb. It's not as bad as Andy Frisella, but he is going to F-bomb you. But that dude is now an ultra marathon runner. That dude runs like 100 miles at a time. Yeah, 100 miles. Crazy. But I'm listening to Chris Welton, dude. And the only reason I'm mentioning this because it kind of made me feel good about myself. because he talked about his version. Chris Welton was talking about his version of 75 hard. Yeah, Anthony, he runs like he has run 5, what Anthony says, 100-mile marathons. This dude's an ultra marathoner. He's a different dude. He's just geared a different way. But again, he's a human being. He puts his pants on just like I do. He does the exact same crap I do. It's not in his physical ability. It's in his mental ability. It's in his mental acuity. It's what he's decided is painful and what he's decided he can do and what he can't do. And what he's decided that he can do is much bigger than what he thinks he can't do. So let's go back to this. David Goggins has super high levels of motivation. Okay? So let's talk about this. We got like 18 minutes left. So let's talk about this. I'm going to revert back to Chris Welton. I'm going to talk about this. Chris Welton talked about his 75 hard journey and how difficult it was because he had to do a 75 hard journey through a couple of states, different time zones. And when he said it on the podcast, I kind of scoffed at it. I kind of laughed. I said, dude, I do that every other week. My 75 hard journey has included Georgia, Tennessee, Nebraska, Puerto Rico, Massachusetts. My 75 hard journey has not been easy at all. I have not even looked at that journey. I've not even looked. I've just kept going. I've just kept doing it. I've just kept rocking. Y'all, I don't know if I even told you this. When we got to Puerto Rico, I had to get on a bike and finish my run, because the rule is you got to finish it before you go to bed. I was on a stationary bike in Puerto Rico at 3:00 in the morning. Because Puerto Rico is 2 time zones ahead of Nashville. I had done my workout in the morning in Nashville, gone to Georgia, then go to Puerto Rico, and I was on a stationary bike at 3 in the morning in Puerto Rico and finished at 3:30 with my wife watching me on this stationary bike in the gym in Puerto Rico. I'm going to go back and deconstruct my 75 hard journey. Michelle, I want you to go back and deconstruct your 75 hard journey and really look at what you've done and what you've accomplished. Because what you're going to see, what you're going to find, and what I'm going to find as I start, and I'm going to put it on social media, and I'm going to go through all the things that I accomplished because I think it's worth sharing. Because here's the deal. If proximity fuels your purpose, if who you're around is an indication of who you are, if who you are around is a reflection of who you've become, if who you are around, who you listen to, who you allow into your life is an indication of the person that you are, then you need to really pay attention to the proximity of people around you. My journey, not only has it included mental toughness, not only has it included me learning how to self-motivate, not only has it included me pushing myself past pain, pushing myself through hurt, pushing myself way past being comfortable. It has also opened doors to Brian Covey. Because when I went to Puerto Rico excited about being in Puerto Rico. Y'all have to understand my personality. I'm a cynic. I am a very critical cynic. The reason that me and Coach Burt didn't jive, and the first few times that I ever heard Coach Burt, is because 1, I had a big ego. 2, is because I'm a critical cynic. I don't give people the benefit of the doubt more times than not. I need them to prove themselves to me. So 8 months ago or so, I started journaling. I need a mentor because I wanted to take my performance from right here to right here. I needed somebody to speak life. I needed a Paul in my life. I was Timothy. I needed a Paul to speak life into me, to speak life into my purpose, to speak life into my thoughts, to get me to take the words off the page, take action, and start doing things. And I was looking for somebody who wasn't a run-of-the-mill mentor. I didn't need somebody at my level. I needed somebody who was doing shit bigger than me. And that's intimidating. For a man who's 50 years old, y'all got to remember, when I was 18, when I was 15, when I was 14, when I was 11 years old, I thought at 50 I'd be retired. I thought at 50 I'd be done. But what I have found now that I'm 50 is I still got a long way to go. I still got a long way to go. And my window for completing this is much shorter now, or much smaller now than my window was when I was 20. I heard this in a call the other day, and I think it's very, very interesting. Isn't it crazy how when you're 20 years old, how impatient you were? And you thought everything had to be done right now, that you had to have everything done right now. And Lainey's not on here this morning, but when Lainey gets a thought in her head, she thinks it's got to be done. And Lainey's 23. She's a hard charger. She's a driver. But when she figures out something that she wants to do, it needs to be done right then. She has no concept of timing. I say that. She has, it just needs to be done right now. She has a whole lot more time at 23 to get shit done than I do. I mean, statistically, she has a lot more runway than I've got statistically. If she's going to live to be 86 and I'm going to live to be 86, her runway is a lot longer than my runway. But it's funny, we're more impatient at 20 than we are at 50. But what I'm finding is my impatience is growing by the day. So I started looking for a mentor. This is what you should be doing. We create this program, this mentorship program, and the mentorship program is based on you having someone in your life to speak life into your business, to help motivate you to do things. The mentors are supposed to be taking our mentees by the hands and walking them through their daily walk, walking them through their daily business, helping them understand how to do real estate, how to talk to people, how to get on the phone, how to do door knock, how to generate business. That's what the mentor-mentee relationship is. Our mentors are supposed to be being examples, walking this stuff out every single day so that our mentees see there's a way to do it. That's the whole point of having a mentor. So 8 months ago, I said, God, I need somebody in my life that's doing it up here. I need a mentor that's doing it up here. I need somebody that I can get behind and get in their wake and see what they're doing and have them get in my butt and tell me what I need to be doing, what I need to be doing differently. All those things. So I started saying, God, who's it going to be? So I get invited to an event in Nashville. I don't know if I told you all this story or not. I get invited to an event in Nashville by a title attorney here in Nashville that she was very integral in introducing me and Christy. And so she has a special place for me and Christy in our lives. So I go to an event that she put on in Nashville. And I meet a dude named Jeff Ruby. And Jeff Ruby is the founder of the Core Coaching Network. So if you've ever heard of the Core Coaching Network, Jeff Ruby is the founder. Jagger, will you pour me some more coffee? Jeff Ruby is the founder of the Core Coaching Network. And Jeff gets up and starts talking. And when Jeff does his talk, man, he's very no nonsense. He's very just, this is the way it is. He's just bam, 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 bam. Don't want to hear your excuses. Don't care what you have going on. You got to step up the time. You got to step up to the plate when it's time to hit. You got to do the things you need to be doing when it's time for you to be doing them. Stop making excuses. I ain't got time for it. And I heard him talking to another agent who was in the room who happened to be in his coaching program. And he was calling her out. He's like, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? And she's like, well, no, I hadn't done that. And he's like, look, stop making excuses. And I'm like, that's the dude I need. Jeff Ruby's the dude I need. But Jeff Ruby had a flip phone. Jeff Ruby says, look, I don't have time for games. I don't have time for bull crap. I don't have time for any of that. If you're going to step up to the plate, you just swing the bat. Stop stepping up to the plate and tell me you're going to swing the bat and not swinging the bat. So here is what I did. And you can do the same thing. I made the decision. I didn't talk to him that day. I was going to talk to him that day. I was going to introduce myself to him that day. He was in the hallway. I'll never forget this. He was in the hallway talking to that same agent. He goes, because before he left, he came back in the room and he said, I need you 10 minutes. I saw him talking, didn't want to interrupt their conversation. So I got on whitepages.com. I found out where Jeff Ruby lived because he said something in the call and I was listening, right? And he said he liked to smoke cigars. He said he lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. I happened to be going to Charlotte, North Carolina 2 weeks from that day to be with Jagger at a hockey tournament. He said he likes smoking cigars. He said he loves being on his back porch at the lake because he lives apparently in Charlotte, has a lake. He lives on the lake in his big house. He likes smoking cigars. So I said, well, Jeff Ruby, you don't know this yet, but I'm about to make you my mentor. Got on whitepages.com, found his home address, found his phone number. I wrote a handwritten note. Hey, Jeff, thanks for the talk. Really enjoyed the talk. Enjoyed meeting with you. Would love to smoke a cigar. I'll be in Charlotte in a couple of weeks. Can you make me some time? Put an envelope, lick the stamp, put the stamp on it, put it in the mail. 4 or 5 days later, I get a phone call from Jeff Ruby. Hey, dude, got your message. That was really cool. Or got your card. That was really super cool. When are you going to be in Charlotte? Let's make it happen. I'm like, sweet. I'm going to go smoke cigars with Jeff Ruby. I'm going to make this thing happen. I'm going to have Jeff Ruby as my new mentor. And Jeff Ruby's probably a multimillionaire. He's done really, really well for himself. He's built a really cool coaching platform. Tristan, that is pretty funny. So I found him, right? Found him, sent a card, got a response, making it happen. As God would have it, as the universe would have it, whatever you want to say, divine providence, whatever. Look at y'all. Look at y'all. Look at you. Caitlin. You're going to make me cry, girl. I'm going to have to read that in a second. I got to get this thought out of my head or I'm going to get sidetracked. So we go to Charlotte. Going to Charlotte, the only day he had available, the only time he had available, I said, yep, put me on the calendar. Because I want to be respectful of his time. If he made time for me on the calendar, that dude's super busy. He flies all over the country doing stuff. He made time for me on his calendar. And I said, I'm in. Didn't work out. Long story short, didn't work out. Couldn't get to Charlotte at that time. I had Jagger. I didn't want Jagger to sit at the hotel by himself. So needless to say, I did not get a chance to meet Jeff Ruby, and we've not been able to hook back up, okay? All right, God, whatever. I still need a mentor. Maybe it isn't him. That's fantastic. I still need somebody doing big stuff. I still need a mentor that's doing big things. I need to get from where I am to where I need to be, where my purpose says I need to be. I need to be from right here to up here. So I need you to put somebody in my life who's going to do that. I need you to put I need a Paul in my life who's going to direct me to that spot, because I'm tired of being down here. I'm tired of being unmotivated. I'm tired of doing this stuff down here. I'm tired of going through the motions. I'm tired of not being successful as I want to be. I'm tired of having conversations about money. I'm tired of having conversations about time. Does any of this resonate with you? Because if you're sick and tired of having conversations about money, if you're sick and tired of not having clients, if you're sick and tired of your real estate business not being what it ought to be, if you're sick and tired, if you're waiting on something from the outside to come in and save you, stop. Stop blaming things on the outside. I saw a post yesterday and it broke my heart. Somebody it was a comment on a Facebook post, and it really broke my heart. Y'all, God did not create this life for you to be tossed about in the wind and the rain. God did not create you in this life to be tossed around like you're in a dinghy with the waves crashing against your boat. He created you in his image. He created you in his image to be able to do the things that you should be able to do the things he's called you to do the things he's built in you to do. He created you in his. Do you believe that God created this earth in randomness? Or do you think God had a plan? Do you think God had a step 1, step 2, step 3? If you look at the creation story, there were steps in the creation story. There is order in God's plan. God does everything according to his plans and his purpose. And guess what? It says that in the Bible. So to think that we all wake up in the morning on this ball of random motion, and that we're just a blob of random bones and random skin, and that we just walk around being tossed to and fro by the wind and the rain, that we get tossed to and fro by the storms of life, like we're in a little dinghy out in the middle of the ocean. Y'all, you got to put that ish out of your head. Because you were created in God's image. You were created to be a creator. You were created to make life. You were created to give life. You were created to provide life to other people. You were created to reach out to others, grab them by their shoulders, bring them in, kiss them on their cheek, hug them around their shoulders, and tell them they're children of God. You were created to hug people, bring them into your proximity. and share with them life. You were created to motivate yourself to get out and create relationship. That's what you were created to do. You are not random. Your life is not random. We don't live our lives by circumstances. We create the life that creates the circumstances. And as soon as you can recognize that distinction, you end up in Puerto Rico with your wife, who you met in Toronto, Canada, who God put in the same room with you, who then has created a life and relationships and circles and proximity to people who create these other things. And I end up in a room in Puerto Rico listening to Brian Covey speak. Brian Covey happens to be from Franklin, Tennessee. Y'all, that's like 25 minutes down the road. Brian Covey has built a business to $25 billion from zero. Brian Covey was a D1 college athlete. I wasn't a D1 athlete, y'all. I just played in AIA, but I was a college athlete. He played professional soccer. I wanted to play professional soccer. He's in the mortgage business. I'm in the real estate space. He gets up and starts speaking about his walk with God, his walk in faith. He gets up and starts talking about the same thing he talked about yesterday, clarity and conviction, walking in your purpose, walking in your path. He starts talking about attractive leadership, which is exactly what Aaron and Christy have been saying for the last 3 months. And I'm sitting there in this chair in Puerto Rico. I'm sitting in this chair at a table in this room that is freezing cold, listening to Brian Covey speak. And I'm sitting in this chair and I said, okay, God, he's my dude. He gets finished talking. He goes and sits at his table. There's a break. I go walk up to him. And I said, look, and I didn't say this yesterday morning on the call, but I'm going to say it this morning because he's not here. And I sat down beside him and I said, Brian, I don't know if you know this yet or not, but you're my mentor. I said, God just told me that I'm supposed to come up here and talk to you. And I was going to embarrass you in front of the whole room. And I was going to set you out in front of everybody when I got up in front of everybody and talked. And I was going to make you do it. But I figured this was a much better way to do this because you don't know me and I don't know you that well. So I'm just going to have this conversation with you in private, but you're my new mentor. He looked at me and, I mean, y'all. Ain't God good? Ain't God good? He looked at me and he smiled. And he goes, you got it. You got it. So when I texted him the other day and I said, man, would you mind being on a call on Thursday? He's like, dude, I'm all in. I'm all in, dude. Just tell me what time to be there. It ain't bad. That ain't a bad mentor, Kristen. Here's what I'm telling y'all. It took motivation for me to get out of my seat to walk over to Brian Covey and have that conversation because that, I promise you, that is not my gear. I am a cynic. I am a critical cynic. I don't ever do that. It took me hearing Coach Burt talk probably 10 times before I ever had the desire to go talk to him. It took Christy coming into my life to knock my ego down for me to go have a conversation face-to-face with Coach Burt. I got up out of my chair, walked over to him at the break, sat down beside him, and said, you're my dude. No reservations, no hesitation. Wasn't scared if he said no. I just said, you're my dude, you're my mentor. Don't know if you know this or not, but you're my mentor. And he smiled and said, you got it. I'm in. Successful people have high levels of motivation. Successful people will pick themselves up by the back of their own shirt and drag them out of bed. Successful people will put their clothes on, put their shoes on, put their makeup on, get their butts out the door, go do the damn thing that needs to be done every single day. They don't wait on somebody else to tell them, hey, you need to go do this. They get up and do it. They have a plan. Y'all, this business it is not complicated. This real estate business is not complicated. It's super simple. What makes it hard is we don't have motivation. We don't have someone telling us to go punch a clock. We're independent contractors. You own your own business. You can just as easily decide to stay in the bed and do nothing as you can to get up, get dressed, and go to the office. You can as easily decide not to call anybody as you can easily decide to call 15 people. You can as easily decide to go create a relationship in a restaurant, at a networking event, at a mastermind as you can not doing it. You can as easily say, I don't have the money to go to this mastermind as you can, because I promise you that mastermind in Puerto Rico, we weren't going to go. We said, we're going, we're not going. We're going, we're not going. We have the money, we don't have the money. We have the money, we don't have the money. Because I promise y'all, it has been hard at the old Dwyer household for the last 6 months, if y'all haven't realized this. It has been a struggle. And us making this jump and us doing what we're doing right now is making this struggle even harder. So if you want to say a prayer for Aaron and Christy, I want you to say a prayer for Aaron and Christy, that he'll put us in front of the right people to do the right things, so that we don't lose our you know whats. Sorry, I almost said a really bad word there. Because the change that's going to be made is it is exponentially more beneficial for our agents than it is for us. Exponentially. So, Caitlin, y'all look at this. Lynn, look at God. I truly feel like I'm gonna cry. I can't. I gotta read this. I truly feel like the universe knew I was going to need this group, these people, their support. Super excited to wake up crusty-eyed and puffy-faced every morning to listen to y'all, interact, and support one another. Look at what God does. Today, Caitlin Dowdy is a brand new agent in our company. And Caitlin, I hope you have enough words for today, because I'm about to set you out, and I'm about to set some agents out. If you are on this call this morning, you owe it to yourself to invite Caitlin Dowdy to lunch. You owe it to yourself to take her to lunch and let her speak to you. Let her tell you her story. Lynn Garrison, you and Caitlin Dowdy need to talk. Caitlin Dowdy, y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, Caitlin Dowdy, I'm speaking this over you prophetically, Caitlin, so just buckle up, sister, because this is what's going to happen. Caitlin Dowdy is a woman changer. Caitlin Dowdy is a life changer. Caitlin Dowdy is a world changer. You owe it to yourself to take her to lunch and let her just be in her proximity, y'all. That girl has got a story of stories. I mean, been through the freaking ring. Sorry, Caitlin, I had to set you out, but I love you. You know I do. She's been through the ringer. But her personality, her spirit, you talk about motivation. I'm going to tell you what, if I had Caitlin Dowdy's motivation, I'd run ultra marathons. I promise you I could. If I had my mental strength with her motivation and her heart and her spirit, I'd run ultra marathons. I'm going to tell you right now, that girl is a badass, just like a lot of you are. And I want you to understand this when I say this to you. And I got to get out of here. And Teal McKinney, I'm speaking to you right now. You need to look at yourself in the mirror today, and you need to recognize how big a badass you are if you're still on this call. You need to today put that mild, meek, sweet little spirit down and be that tigress that you are, because it is waiting to get out. You have all the ability, gifts, strengths, and everything to absolutely change this world, to be a phenomenal real estate agent, to do whatever it is you choose to do. You just got to talk to yourself in the mirror and decide, I'm going to go do this thing. Successful people have high levels of motivation. Highly successful people don't stop, don't quit, won't stop, won't quit. You can't keep them down. Y'all, I promise you, God will reward the faithful. Nothing is possible without faith. Faith without works is dead. If I'd have sat at that table in Puerto Rico and said, I really need a mentor, God. 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 And Brian Covey is sitting right there, 5 feet away from me. And I sit there and I just bitched him on, God, I don't know why you don't send me a mentor. I don't know why you just don't let me have a mentor. I'm just asking. I keep asking. And you don't say yes. You don't put anybody in my life. I'm really looking for a mentor. And Brian Covey is sitting there. That's the story that the dude's drowning in the water and 4 boats go by. And the guy says, I'm just waiting on God to save me. And God says, dude, I sent you 4 boats. High levels of motivation. Successful people have high levels of motivation. Proximity fuels your purpose. Get with the right people. Find the right people. Do the damn thing. Get up off the couch. Get up out of your comfort zone. Get away from your mundane. Flip and get out and do this thing. I'm telling you, once you step out in faith, faith without works is dead. Once you step out and take a step, once you step out and do it, once you start walking, go watch what God will do. Go watch what God will do. Get in the proximity of people who are doing the damn thing. That's the wonderful thing about what we do. You have the ability not only to go be in other people's proximity, but if you can do it good enough and you can do it well enough and you can be in other people's proximity enough and you can spread your light and love on other people enough, you'll get rewarded for it. Not just in the relationship, but financially. So go do it. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for something to walk in your front door, tap you on your shoulder and say, you probably ought to go do this. Stop waiting for something on the outside to change something on the inside. Your motivation doesn't need to come from somebody else. Your motivation needs to come from that person in the mirror. Your motivation needs to come from that boss voice on this shoulder, not the bitch voice on this shoulder. And I'm saying bitch, I'm not talking about your angry personality. I'm talking about the one that tells you it's okay to be comfortable, that it's okay to sit and do what you've been doing, that the status quo is perfectly fine. You don't need to be striving for anything more. You have a great life. You should live it just like this. You know what? It's just fine just like it is. Why are you even pushing to do anything else? All you're going to do is go out there and make yourself embarrass yourself. All you're going to do is go out there and get yourself told no. All you're going to do is be rejected over and over again. Stop listening to that voice. Listen to the voice that says, I can do whatever the hell I want to do because God said I'm more than a conqueror. I can do whatever I set my mind to, because God told me that I'm bigger than this life. I can do whatever I want to do. And I can make this be whatever God says it can be because God gave it to me. It's God's purpose, not my purpose. It's God's destiny, not my destiny. It's God's vision for me, not mine. I'm a freaking oak tree. So today I'm going to go be an oak tree. Today I'm going to go be a lion. Today I'm going to do this thing. I love y'all. I got to go. I get fired up. I'm going to keep going. I can't go because I got to get Jagger to school. I love y'all. Have a magical Friday. Get out there and do this doggone thing. Do it today. Stop waiting for somebody else to tell you. Stop waiting for somebody else on the outside. You go do it yourself. I love you. Be good, be great. Y'all get with Caitlin. Be good, be great, be you. Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.